Good evening. I would like to call the Governing Board meeting of the Lammersville Unified School District to order on Wednesday, April 16th at 7 p.m. This meeting is being live streamed and recorded, so I ask that you kindly turn off or silence your cell phones at this time. Members of the public are welcome to speak on the board on agendized items or during public comments for items that are not on the agenda. If you wish to speak to the board, please fill out a blue comment card located at the back of the room right by the door. And tonight we have some special guests with us from Costa Elementary School. So Principal Pacheco and Vice Principal Clegg are here with some of their students, and we would like to invite them to the podium at this time to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Party begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That was Anvita. She's the president of our HOSA team, and she'll be presenting tonight. Good evening, President Boulay, members of the board, Dr. Nicholas. Evelyn Costa is excited to present our ASB functions for this year. They've grown quite a bit over the last year and a half. And then our HOSA team would like to present everything that they did at the state conference that you were allowing them to go on and sponsored. They did a great job going to International Leadership Conference in Tennessee. So I'm going to turn it over to our ASB.
Hello everyone, my name is Shasta and I'm representing the Costa ASB. What is ASB? ASB stands for Associated Student Body, which is also another name for leadership. ASB is a leadership program in which we organize events at the school and even teach lessons to every class in the school. I have decided to interview some of my peers to know how it was being an ASB. And I'll be sharing two of them. One of them is, ASB has given me the courage to show my leadership skills and cooperate with others to do what's best for the school. Throughout the year, we organized various events for the school and raised school spirit. Another one is, ASB has given me exposure to speaking in front of crowds, being a leader, and making decisions, giving me more opportunities to improve these important life skills. Now I'll be talking about some of the events that we've organized. Our first event is the homecoming parade, where we built a float. It was our very first project as an ASB, and all of us contributed one way or another. Our theme of the float was "Oh, the Places You'll Go" by Dr. Seuss, and the float was very fun to build because we got to meet other people and get to know them while we were building them. Our next event was the trunk or treat, where we were able to go trick-or-treating in our school's parking lot. ASB set up and ran a carnival with mini games in it where people could play and earn prizes, and we as a team were able to come up with games and make them happen, and the carnival made the trunk-or-treat happen a lot. It made it a lot more fun. Another one is the Red Ribbon Week, where we held lunchtime games during recess for the entire week. And the games were Halloween themed. And to support Red Ribbon Week, we made a big red ribbon made of handprints from everyone in our school. Another one is Kindness Week, where we made posters with kind notes on them. And we also had a rally to show people how to be kind. And our last but not least, we've been teaching lessons about our school's motto, RISE. RISE stands for Respect, Innovation, Safety, and Empathy. We teach how to apply this in real life and have activities based on what we're teaching to keep everyone engaged in the presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, LUSD Board. My name is Anvita Naranjan, and I am Evelyn Costa's HOSA Chapter President.
And I'm Kavya Kamlakumar. I'm a member at Evelyn Costa HOSA.
This year was our first year as a HOSA chapter, yet we were able to accomplish so much and, more importantly, learn.
Our HOSA journey began with the Fall Leadership Conference. The Fall Leadership Conference happened in November of 2024, and all of our members found it really useful as it was our first experience with California HOSA. Some of our members said that the Fall Leadership Conference cleared my doubts of HOSA and made me fully want to join HOSA and be a member.
Another member mentioned, I learned a lot from the FLC. It introduced me to other people and helped me gain more information. The workshops were so much fun, and overall it confirmed my decision to be a doctor. After our FLC, our regional competitive events began. Several of our members participated in events in health science, leadership, health professions, and teamwork events qualifying for the State Leadership Conference. This qualification helped find motivation to progress for SLC. They did this by honing better study skills, developing teamwork skills, and overall being successful at SLC.
One of our most memorable events from our HOSA chapter was the HOSA Service Project. Together we raised $1,170 for NMDP, which is the National Marrow Donor Program. The funds went towards research and helping NMDP find donors. We did this by standing in farmers market promotions, where many of us interacted with the community and spread awareness. Another way we spread the word was through the STEAM fair, or the science fair. We had 2 stalls, the diabetes stall and the slime stall. The diabetes stall was a campaign run by Anvita and a few of our other members in order to promote awareness about diabetes and ways to prevent it. And the slime stall was a way to teach our peers how to stress less.
A major event throughout this entire school year of having HOSA was attending the State Leadership Conference. Several of our HOSA members qualified through the health science events such as Math for Health Careers, Medical Reading, Medical Terminology, and Nutrition. Other events dedicated to leadership, health professions, and teamwork events such as Healthy Living, Medical Innovation, and HOSAble. And lastly, the recognition events, such as the Emotional Wellbeing Challenge, the Barbara James Service Award, and the HOSA Service Project. Overall, the SLC experience was great. We participated in activities such as workshops, social interactions, and including the award ceremony, all in all, qualifying for the International Leadership Conference, which a large portion of our chapter will be attending Nashville, Tennessee in June.
Overall, we had a great first-time experience as a HOSA team, and we had an amazing time at RCE, SLC, and FLC. So, Evelyn Costa Elementary thanks the Lammersville School Board for supporting us in our journey on our first-year trip to SLC and our upcoming trip to ILC.
Thank you. And congratulations on your first year, all the successes that you had and the growth that you had particularly. So good luck at the international conference.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just didn't know if you had any questions for the girls, but I think they did a great job.
Agreed. They did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Costa students, you are welcome to stay for the meeting if you like, but if you need to go home and study for HOSA or other academics, you are free to do that as well. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Roll call, please.
Lisa Boulay.
Here.
Vanita Daniel.
Here.
Samik Modi.
Absent.
Stephanie Olson.
Here.
David Pombo. Here. Devika Vitlani.
Here. Here.
Item 4, approval and or correction to the agenda.
There are none.
Move to approve the agenda. Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Daniel, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no noes, and 1 absent. Item 5, we have a presentation of our TED Ed event.
Yeah, we'll have Assistant Superintendent Sharp introduce our speakers.
Good evening, President Boulay, trustees, Dr. Nicholas. Thank you for having me this evening. We got to have a wonderful TED Ed event again this year. It is our 4th annual. And I want to thank coordinators Christy Hamilton and Denise Hinton for organizing this great event. But now we are going to have an opportunity to have our speakers come up and give a presentation, a little recap on their experience with the event. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to come up.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting us to be here tonight. My name is Sarah Chandapillai. I'm a 7th grader at Hanson, and I was a host for this year's TED Ed event.
My name is Al Gaduli, and I was a presenter at this year's TED event. I'm a 7th grader that goes to Peter Hansen Elementary.
I'm Ria. I'm a 7th grader from Costa, and I was a presenter for this year's event.
I'm Marab Muzanapali. I was also a presenter for this year's event, and I'm in 8th grade in Cordes Elementary.
My name is David Stoller. I am in 7th grade, and I go to Altamont Elementary.
We are so excited to share with you all about our experiences with the 2025 TED Ed event. This year, the event continued to be student-led, and we had high school media arts students help with sound, lighting, and microphones, as well as recording the live event. We also had our high school coaches help with fine-tuning scripts or any help that we really needed.
Our weekly practices focus mostly on the partnership between us and the coaches of the MHHS speech and debate. The utmost professionalism, gentleness, and expertise that they have showcased have really fostered our growth. Our weekly feedback sessions, which emphasize speaking practices, gestures, and voice projection, were an important factor in facilitating a more proficient speaking delivery. The mini workshops that they engaged us in taught us about the speaker's triangle and introduced us to ourselves with icebreakers, which were engaging and effective. Overall, we appreciated their kind guidance and had a very fun time working with them.
While we all very much enjoyed the TED event, some of us enjoyed a few parts more than others. These 2 slides express what the participants, hosts, and coaches named as their favorite part of the TED event and the preparation leading to it.
This year, us speakers and hosts were able to spend 2 whole school days and then some, just that same week, practicing at the high school theater, perfecting our craft. And at the live event, in front of all the attendees, I believe we all did an amazing job, and that deserves some appreciation.
Hey, David, why don't you share your favorite part of the TED Ed experience?
Honestly, I think my favorite part was being able to go there, get together, present something we cared about, and be able to become friends along the way.
That's also a big part of why I valued this experience so much. All GATE students around the district also had an opportunity to present their passion projects, in which over 100 students participated. We showcased a wide variety of projects, ranging from art portfolios to Lego ball scooper races. We were also excited to have Assemblyperson Rhodesia Ransom with us as a special guest speaker.
Thank you for allowing us to present at the board meeting and for all the support LUSD provides to the GATE program. Thank you to all of the administrators, coordinators, and teachers who helped make this event a success. Thank you again, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
And I would like to thank all of the TED Ed students for being so inspirational. You guys did a great job. Those speeches that you had at the event were amazing. They were entertaining. They were engaging. I was actually on the edge of my seat for some of them. They were very, very creative. So thank you for sharing your talent with us. And thank you to all the teachers and the high school students that helped you as well.
I echo that. It was an amazing event. I was happy to see all of the passion projects as well as listening to the speeches. And I've got to say, I've added a new term into my daily vocabulary with my family at home, which is constructive laziness. So thank you very much for some new insight.
I would just like to say that I have been to each and every one of the TED Ed events, and they get better and better every year. This year was the best one yet. And I am just jealous that I'm not as good of a public speaker as any of you all.
I just want to thank all of you for being here. Because of work commitment, I had to miss. And this was the very first time I missed the TED event. But I'm so glad to hear you speak here. And thank you for sharing all your insights. And we did talk about the constructive laziness at a later time. So thank you so much for all of your efforts. Thank you.
All right, and again, you guys are welcome to stay and learn about our district if you'd like, or you may go home at this time as well. So thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
Item 6, committee reports. Item A, the District Advisory Committee. That is me. The next meeting will be Wednesday, May 21st at 6:15 here in the district office boardroom. Item B is the District English Language Advisory Committee. Our next meeting is April 17th at 6:30 in the Professional Development Center. That will be a joint meeting with the Education Committee. Item C, Education Committee, Trustee Pombo.
As mentioned, our next meeting is April 17th at 6:30, joint meeting with the DLAC Committee.
Item D, Facilities Committee, Trustee Olson.
The next Facilities Committee meeting will be on Thursday, May 8th at 6:30 p.m. here in the boardroom.
And item E, Policy Committee, Trustee Daniel.
We have the first reading of the updated board policies and ARs as our discussion item today, and that's the only update.
Thank you. Item F, Safety Committee, Trustee Pombo.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. And item G, Wellness Committee, Trustee Olson.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Executive Director Busatil for providing this information, as Trustee Daniel was out of town and I was at a meeting for work that prevented us from being at the very last Wellness Committee meeting. They met last Wednesday, and they discussed a pilot program of the Sandy Hook Promise, which is a Say Something anonymous reporting system. And the discussion was that they would potentially have that pilot at the high school. And there was an update on the mental health and wellness summary of the services provided to students, which hundreds upon hundreds of students in our district are receiving support in this area, which is a really wonderful thing to celebrate, that we're getting to our students and serving them. So thank you, Director Busatil, for giving that information for the report.
Thank you. Item 7, Governing Board Reports. Student Board Member Fidelani.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. So for Mountain House High School's ASB updates, we have our really exciting night rally coming up on March 27th. And this is a unique rally because it's after school. And we also came up with a fast food theme, so all of the high schoolers are extremely excited to attend and also visit all of the different food booths. And then we have our Golden Hour themed prom coming up at the San Francisco Exploratorium on May 10th. And everyone's extremely excited for that. For club updates, Hackathon will be having its end of the year Six Flags trip this Friday. And DECA will have its international competition towards the end of April, and we would just want to wish all the competing Mustangs a very best of luck. For sporting updates, Mountain House High School's volleyball team will be having its senior night tonight, and that concludes my report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Pombo.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. On March 20th, I attended the Mountain House High School National Honor Society Spring Festival. And then later in the evening, I attended the Wickland Dare graduation. On March 23rd, I attended Cadence's Friendship Festival, which is about inclusion. It was a nice event. On March 24th, I attended the Lammersville DARE graduation. On the 25th, I attended the Lammersville Site Council meeting and also the Cuesta DARE graduation. On March 26th, I attended the CSBA March Policy Update, where they updated us on new policies that are in the pipeline. On March 27th, I, along with Superintendent Nicholas, gave a tour of the district to Assemblywoman Ransom, then attended the TED Ed program and the Ramadan event at the Unity Center. On April 9th, I attended the CSBA Region 8 Zoom meeting. On April 10th, I attended the Mountain House High School tennis match. On the 11th, I attended CPR training at Lammersville Elementary. On April 15th, I attended the farmers market at Lammersville. And earlier today, I attended the farmers market at Evelyn Costa Elementary. I also attended the CSBA Education Workforce Housing webinar earlier today. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Olson?
Thank you, President Boulay. On March 25th, I attended the Cuesta DARE graduation. And on March 27th, I attended the TED event that we just saw a wonderful presentation on. And it really was a wonderful event. And I really am going to work on my constructive laziness. On March 27th, I also attended the Ramadan Break the Fast event at the Mountain House Unity Center. And that was a wonderful gathering of the community. And I'm thankful for the invite. On April 10th, I reported to the community, not the CSD, the new City of Mountain House City Council meeting about Lammersville Unified School District. And we always have a lot of happy news to share about our district, so that's always a fun occasion. And then on April 11th, and again on April 13th, and again the next 3 days, I have attended Les Miserables at Mountain House High School drama production. And I will have those songs in my head for a year, but it is a wonderful production, and I'm blown away by the talent that we have in this district. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Daniel?
Thank you, President. On March 23rd, I attended the first annual Cadence Friendship Festival, and I enjoyed watching the magic show and other activities along with Trustee Pombo. And great job to the WSF Inclusion Committee members for their efforts. On March 27th, along with Trustees Olson and Pombo, I also attended the Iftar organized by MHMA and broke the fast along with them. And there ends my report.
Thank you. For my report, on March 24th, I attended the Lammersville DARE graduation ceremony. And on March 27th, I attended the TED Ed Talks. I wasn't able to go to the showcase, but I really enjoyed the talks that those students did. They're quite talented. On April 9th, I attended the high school boys volleyball game versus Sierra. Our high school boys are doing very well this year, and they won that game, and I'm just so impressed with the athleticism and the strategy. They're doing a great job. On April 10th, I attended the vice principal high school interviews, and then later in that day, I attended the boys tennis match. Again, our boys tennis team is doing well. They have won all of their league matches, so they are continue to play this season. On the 12th, I attended the Lammersville Elementary School auction, and I'd like to thank Trustee Pombo and former Trustee Clements for sharing their head table with us. It was a great evening, and the volunteers do an amazing job with that event. I know it's a ton of work, so I'm grateful to all of our volunteer parents for hosting a great event. And then on the 13th, I attended the high school production of Les Mis, And I have attended all of the high school productions, not because I feel like it's a responsibility, but because they are amazing. And I think that this is my favorite. It's just that the kids are just so convincing in their acting and their singing and their emotion and the passion. It's really an amazing show, and the sets are very creative, and the costumes are spot on. So they are showing again this weekend. So if you haven't seen it, there's still more opportunities, and I highly recommend it. And that's the end of my report. Item 8, receiving of public comments. The entire board appreciates hearing from members of the community and public at large. The board shall give members of the public an opportunity to address the board either before or during the board's consideration of each action item, Government Code Section 54954.3. At a time so designated on the agenda, members of the public also may bring before the board matters that are not listed on the agenda of a regular meeting. The board may refer such a matter to the superintendent or designee or take it under advisement, but shall not take action at that time. The board may place the matter on the agenda of a subsequent meeting for discussion or action. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. I do have a blue speaker card, so I would like to welcome Jay and Kim Johnson to the podium. And I will note that our 3-minute lights are not working, so our executive assistant, Noel, will give you a 30-second time check when we're coming close to the end of that 3 minutes. Okay. Thank you for being here tonight.
All right, thank you. My name is Jay Johnston. I have a daughter, Persephone Johnston. She's in 3rd grade at Julius Cordis. Thank you, Mr. President and Superintendent, for your time, and trustees. We had some issues. We put on an IEP plan to try to get some additional protections for like special education, because we have an issue with every teacher is different, but this teacher has been absent for a large chunk of the school year, and I wrote a few different emails to the superintendent. I'm sure that you've received them, and you know who I am. And I know that we're recently getting some action from the principal, but I just want to make sure that the board is aware that this whole thing is transpiring. It set her back pretty far in her educational progress this year, and she's had this happen once previously at a different school district, but it was the
Dublin.
Yeah, Dublin. And due to this, it's really hampering her productivity in school. So I know that like in your government handbook, it commits to like mentally and physically safe classrooms, doing what's best for the students. It demands professionalism and accountability within the architecture of the handbook. And due to that, we also have like free and public education guaranteed under federal law. I'm not here to point fingers at anybody. Everybody here is trying to work for the best case of the students. I don't dispute that. I just want to make sure that she gets some additional help, and that I bring as much light as I can, because there's additional students that are having issues, not just Persephone. I went ahead and tried to get her into special IEP, obviously, and RSP, just to, one, try to catch her up, and two, there's additional legal protections that come along with that. As you know, like the 15-day student absences can constitute, like, what is it? I wrote them down. But there's 2 legal proceedings that you can file, one with the California Student Board of Education and one for like special educational needs. And that's just as an additional protection and to help her get caught up if those things happen to be required. I'm hoping not so. Other than that, I thank you for your guys' time. I just really am hoping to get some action on it, that's all. And I know that I hate to spoil such a positive day for everybody. It's not my intent. But thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. We do appreciate your voice, and thank you for sharing your story with us. Item 9, consent items for consideration. Actions proposed for consent are consistent with the approved practices of the district and are deemed routine in nature. Trustees receive board agenda background information in advance of scheduled meetings and are prepared to vote with knowledge on the consent items. Item A, governing board meeting minutes from the regular meeting of March 19th. Item B, contracts under $50,000. Item C, ratification of certificated and classified personnel actions. Item D, updated 2024-2025 fundraisers. Item E, ratification of 2024-2025 inter and intra-district transfer requests. Item F, ratification of 2025-2026 inter-district transfer requests. Item G, ratification of warrant list for March 2025. Item H, declaration of surplus materials, e-waste. Item I, approval of early high school graduation or reduction of graduation requirements petition for 3 students. And item J, ratification of school-sponsored overnight trips. Would any member of the board like to pull any of these items for discussion or special consideration?
I would not like to pull in any of them. I do have a clarifying question for the superintendent on item B, contracts under 50,000. The majority of them are special education related expenses, and I just want to clarify that those expenses come from the general fund. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Thank you. And with that, I will move to approve the items for consideration.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Olson, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no noes, and 1 absent. Madam Clerk, would you please do the honors?
Yes, I will, Madam President. We would like to welcome the following new employees to the Lammersville Unified School District family. Melissa Maralese, Administrative Assistant 1, Julie Rozo, Maintenance Lead, and Sabrina Riley, Noon Duty Supervisor. And in the audience with us this evening, we have our 2 new Vice Principals, Holly Barker for Bethany and Carrera Maderos for Cuesta. We'd like to welcome them to the Lammersville Unified family.
Holly, would you like to come to the podium and introduce yourself and say a few words? Sorry to put you on the spot.
That's okay.
Members of the board and Dr. Nicholas, I appreciate the opportunity. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to this new opportunity. Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
And Carrera, I would like to invite you to the podium as well for a brief introduction.
Good evening, President Boulay, trustees, and Dr. Nicholas. I wanted to say thank you so much for having me here. This past year within the school district has been quite a whirlwind. I have learned, words can't even express how much I've learned this year. And I'm really looking forward to continuing my professional growth and serving our community. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Item 10, District Administrative Reports. Item A, Superintendent's Report.
Yes, we do have 2 items here. The first one, we had a TKK Readiness Parent Workshop that was very well attended. There were 4 sessions, 2 for TK, 2 for kindergarten, and the number of parents in attendance were 177 TK students and 84 kinder students, or the parents of students. And so, again, it was a wonderful event. It shows the enthusiasm of young parents. I remember being one. It was just yesterday, or not. And it's always nice to have big events at our professional development center. The second one, before Noel hits the button play, in 2016, the Board of Trustees directed me to begin research on conducting a general obligation bond, which is a community-wide bond that requires the community to vote, in essence, to raise its own taxes. At that time, $56 million for construction projects was a significant amount of money. In 2025, $56 million does not buy a lot. But we have completed expenditures that have zeroed out that act of generosity by the community. So in 2016, Measure L passed with 62% vote, which is a very strong outcome for a general obligation bond. We thought we would put together a picture story of all of the projects that went towards that $56 million, and a special thanks to Noel, who did the production work on this. So just to review, we just opened a brand new school, and we're in the process of planning the groundbreaking for the next school. And in the last few years, in particular, the post-COVID construction market has been astronomical. So let me just hit a few highlights. Before and without the Measure L bond passage, the site of the library, or the Learning Commons, the theater, the professional education building or CTE building, the pool and aquatic center, the tennis courts, the professional development center, and the warehouse did not exist. Well, in the warehouse's case, it was like an old barn-like thing. And then we had all these other smaller projects. But in order to build all of that, meaning finish basically 40% of the high school and all those other projects, that would have cost close to, if not more than, $100 million in itself. So to be able to finish the high school and make sure that other projects got done and expand our warehouse and build a building dedicated to professional development and a lot of other things, it took courage on the part of the board to go for something like that. It took support from the community, and swinging back to the board, making good decisions on the guidance for what to build. I can say to the board and community, we effectively use that money, wisely use that money, and our students and district benefit from it, and will for a long time.
I would just like to say that I'm very proud of the things we were able to parlay that money into across the district. I think we did a lot of good for our students and staff, and I'm proud of what we do here.
I'd like to echo that. That was a wonderful video. Thank you, Noelle, for putting that together to really showcase the things we have. I mean, I think about just that Trustee Boulay and I just talked about seeing Les Mis at the high school theater, and that wouldn't have happened without getting this bond passed. And you know, how lucky are we that we only had to raise $56 million, because I can't even imagine what we'd have to raise in today's dollars. And you know, I used to think $130 million to complete the high school was astronomical, and it's like, what is it now, like $400 million? Yeah. So I'm grateful that we have a community that has a long-term vision, and that the board back in 2016 also had that vision of what would make this community and school district great.
I just would like to add that was a beautiful visual representation, Noel, so thank you so much. And the last part about promises made, promises kept is what being a leader, being a district is all about. When you give a word, you make sure you keep up the word. And I'm so glad that we were able to do, the previous board members and everyone, and with the support of community. So great job to everyone. Thank you.
Item B, district enrollment report.
Yes, 8,042, and I can also tell you that the numbers for next year's enrollment are starting to swell rapidly.
Thank you. Item C, Williams Quarterly Report, January 2025 through April 15th, 2025.
There are none.
Thank you. And item D, District Maintenance and Operations Report, and today we have Director LeGrand. Thank you.
It's a lot of projects, and I'm tired, right? Anyways, good evening. Thanks for having me. No operations report tonight. So spring's definitely here. The sprinklers have been on for a couple of weeks. They're going to continue on from the media that we know of. There's no rain in the forecast at all. We still have our EPIC interns. We have 4 interns. We have them all day on Thursday. They'll be doing grounds work tomorrow at the high school. We had a productive spring break. Keenan was here doing their annual hazardous material survey for the whole district. Last year they did just the high school. This year they did all the schools. It was supposed to take 3 days. They actually knocked out in 2 days, which was good for us. Gave us an extra day to do some extra work. Updating our projects, the new classroom at the high school. We had our virtual meeting today. Everything's going great. Things are starting to wrap up with the project. They started working on the landscaping around the building this week. We actually have a punch list walk already scheduled for May 21st, next month. So we're definitely on schedule for completion by the end of June. And last I heard, furniture is coming the first week of July. So we're ready, good to go for next school year. The kitchen remodel project at Lammersville, we had a couple of warranty items we're working through, a couple of things with the garbage disposal dishwasher. We're trying to work through those. And we're still have that sneeze guard on the serving line that's being fabricated right now, so that's not in yet. The field at Costa, we, over spring break, both the soccer and the cricket field were reseeded and fertilized Monday and Tuesday of spring break, so that's done. I've been out there, starting to sprout already, so it's filled in nicely. Soccer field looks really good. The cricket field is filling in. The west side's a little thin, but it's filling in better than it was, so that's good. Staffing update, we don't have any current openings. And last thing I want to talk about was the pool. The pool's been a bit of a hot issue lately. So I wanted to just give a brief overview of our maintenance program so everyone watching knows what we do with the pool. We contract with a professional pool company since the pool opened 5 years ago, 6 years ago, five years ago. They come twice a month. They double check everything for us. When they come visit us, I get an email. They send me a field engineering report. It looks like this. It has water chemistry, all the tasks they completed, and at the end, if there's any recommendations on our end, that's noted on the report. In-house maintenance, the head custodian is the primary person responsible. He tests the water twice a day. He records the data in this sort of log sheet we have. It's in the equipment room. This happens to be from March 20th through May 10th. Everything, water temperature, chlorine level, all this stuff, it's all recorded here. We have stacks of these things in the file cabinet in that room. He also runs a pool vacuum 2-3 times a week to get debris out of the bottom of the pool. As far as chemicals go, we get multiple deliveries every month, depending on need. We have a telemetry system that is supposed to signal the company when the tanks are getting low. As I reported here before, back in February, March-ish, we were having some issue with that. That's been corrected. As a backup, the head custodian checks the tank levels every day. If anything's low, he texts me or calls me. Then I notify the company to get the chemicals out to be filled. Repairs, as of last week, we've completed 15 repairs on the pool. That for a total cost of $53,000 and change. We also are replacing the heat exchanger and the heater number 2 this week. They stayed late last night and finished last night. That's another $25,000. And we have been waiting for parts since early March for the chlorine pump and a probe and some other things. Those parts came in today and they'll be out tomorrow to install those. So that's been a big issue for us. We have been trying to manually limp the pool along as best we can. I've been working closely with the athletic director, Renee Nunn. Between the two of us, we try to make the pool safe for our students and everybody else uses the pool. Just for example, she notified me last Wednesday the alkalinity level was low. I went and bought 540 pounds of baking soda, put that in the pool on Thursday. On Monday, she texted me that she took a water sample in. It needed 11 gallons of chlorine. It needed 8 to be swimmable, 11 to be where it's supposed to be. I put 11 gallons in to be where it's supposed to be. And then today she texted me, same thing, took another water sample in, needed another 11 gallons. I was in a construction meeting. She was able to get that chlorine in the pool for me and help me out, and we're working together to get that done. So that's where we're at. Hopefully after the repairs are in tomorrow, we'll be back on track and some of the stuff will go by the wayside. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Item 11, action items. Item A, consider approval of agreement for the National School Lunch Program between the Mountain House Elementary School District and Lammersville Unified School District for 2025-2026 school year. Staff report.
We do this annually. We work with the very small school district to our west to assist them with their food services.
Move to approve of agreement for a national school lunch program between Mountain House Elementary School District and the Lammersville Unified School District for the 2025-26 school year.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Daniel, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no noes, and 1 absent. Item B, consider approval of public disclosure form AB 1200 of collective bargaining agreement for classified employees, CSEA, and unrepresented groups. Staff report, please.
Yes, this is the culminating act of a negotiation season. I want to thank Ginny Clements and her team from CSEA and our district team of Thor Harrison, Gloria Grijalva, Sarah Barrios, and Irene Busatil. This was a very, they were able to resolve everything in a very short period of time in a very professional manner, and we appreciate that. We recommend approval.
Move to approve the public disclosure form, AB 1200, of collective bargaining agreement for classified employees, CSEA, and unrepresented groups.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and seconded by trustee Pombo, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no nos, and 1 absent. Item C, consider approval of second reading and adoption of the LUSD Safe Schools Plan and School Site Safety Plans for 2025-2026. Staff report?
Just that this is something we do annually. This district's commitment to safety is unparalleled. I want to thank the board members who sit on the safety committee along with staff and first responders and all the staff members out there at the school sites. This helps us prepare for the unfortunate.
Thank you.
Move to approve of the second reading and adoption of the LUSD Safe Schools Plan and School Site Safety Plans for the 2025-2026 school years.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Olson, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no nos, and 1 absent. Item D, consider approval of the second reading and adoption of the 2025-2026 LUSD Wellness Plan. Staff report?
Yeah, just the same thing. There's a commitment for safety, and there's also a commitment to the wellness of our students and staff. And I want to thank the board members for their commitment to the committee, and we recommend approval.
Move to approve second reading and adoption of 2025-2026 LUSD Wellness Plan.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Daniel and a second by trustee Olson, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no nos, and 1 absent. Item E, consider approval of a 1-year extension with benchmark education for grades 3 through 6 English Language Arts, ELA, and English Language Development, ELD, for the 2025-2026 school year, total $74,087.88. Staff report?
Yes, both items E and F are very much the same. These are the consumable materials we'll need for next year to go with our curriculum.
Thank you.
Move to approve of a 1-year extension with Houghton Mifflin Harcourt move to approve of a 1-year extension with benchmark education for grades 3 through 6, English Language Arts, ELA, and English Language Development, ELD, for the 2025-2026 school year, total $74,087.88.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Daniel, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no nos, and 1 absent. Item F, consider approval of a 1-year extension with Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, grades K through 2 and 7 through 8 English Language Arts, ELA, and English Language Development, ELD, for the 2025-2026 school year, total $212,800.24. Any additional staff report? Thank you. Can take a motion.
Move to approve of a 1-year extension with Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, grades K2 and 7-8 English Language Arts, ELA, and English Language Development, ELD, for the 2025-26 school year, for a total of $212,800.24.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Olson, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no nos, and 1 absent. Item G, consider approval of a 1-year renewal contract with Imagine Learning for Edgenuity, Middle School Accelerated Math, for the 2025-2026 school year, total $146,150. Staff report?
We bring this forward. This supports our accelerated math program. It allows the opportunity for our most advanced math students to have a program within the self-contained class.
Thank you.
I have a clarifying question for this. So I understand that every year we renew the contract. So is there a multi-contract that we can do, or what is the need for us to renew every year?
So I looked into this, and what was shared with me is that we have begun a process. We've had Edgenuity for a long time. It served us well, but we've begun a process to search to see if there's something better or different out there on the market. So this particular recommendation on a one-year renewal is because we don't want to be tied to a more complicated commitment. Usually that would be a 3-year commitment. Obviously there's out clauses, but we're hoping that something equal to or greater than comes along, and so that's why this is a 1-year renewal.
Good to know. Thank you. With that, I move to approve 1-year renewal contract with Imagine Learning for Edgenuity Middle School Accelerated Math for the 2025-2026 school year, total $146,150.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Daniel and a second by trustee Pombo, student preferential vote?
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no noes, and 1 absent. Item H, consider approval of the site plan for student achievement, SPSA, for Lammersville Elementary School. Staff report?
Yes, a provision of Title I funding, federal dollars, requires that Title I schools, SIPSA, be approved by the board. This is the Lammersville Elementary School, SIPSA, as they're our only school that receives Title I funding. And so we recommend approval based on meeting that provision.
Move to approve the site plan for student achievement, SIPSA, for Lammersville Elementary School.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Olson, student preferential vote?
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no noes, and 1 absent. Item 12, information and discussion items. Item A, first reading of updated board policies and administrative regulations. Staff report?
Yes, this is an opportunity for the board to ask staff any questions or to look into something based on this first tranche of board policies. If not, we will bring it back to the board for a second reading and approval at the next board meeting.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or discussion? No. Thank you. Item B, board bylaw 9250 and 9150 review. Staff report, please.
Yes, so a new law passed on January 1st, 2024, that opens the door of an expectation for consideration of each school board of paying student trustees an equivalent amount to board member payments for their service to the district as a student trustee. And the other item on here is the means in which a board and the funding that comes to them for serving on the board can be increased, which can only be increased by a 5% total. So we brought these 2 items forward for the board's discussion, in particular the one that with the new law from January 1st and student trustee payment. And the second one for the board's discussion is does the board want to direct staff to consider a $12.60 raise to its monthly stipend of $252, or I think it would be $252.60 with the raise for that matter.
Okay. Anybody have any clarifying questions or would like to open discussion?
I just have a quick question. I understand you mentioned it was effective since January 1st. Is it 2025 or 2024?
2024.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it's been a year. Okay. Thank you.
So it's all of last year?
Yes.
The law was passed at the beginning of last year.
One of the things that happens with the board policy review and the board policy committee is that we discover things that we didn't know.
And I'd say kudos to CSBA for what do we get them, quarterly or semi-annually, a couple times quarterly, we get those updates. But the updates are not, it takes some time to get those updates. So although the law passed a little over a year ago, I don't know that we've actually even gotten that update from CSBA yet. So I know we did hear from our student board member, and it's something that I presume you heard about from the CSBA conference from other trustees. And so I think that's one of the advantages of the CSBA conference and networking with other board members and trustees.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like we were just having discussions on like how each district works and like if they had stipends, and a lot of my peers like mentioned that they were, so I just brought it up.
I am in favor of stipends for student trustees. I'm not certain that stipends equal to the stipends that regular board members get are appropriate for a student board member.
Do we know in the law, I don't remember what AB, I think it's in the discussion of what AB it is, 1270 something. If it says that the stipend will be equivalent to board members for the student stipend?
The reason why this is on info and discussion is so that I can go back and
Okay.
and research that. So the question is does it have to be the equal amount?
Right. Because I agree. I think there's definitely some value to recognize our student trustee in terms of a monetary stipend. But I agree with Trustee Pombo. It'd be interesting to see if the recommendation is to have the same or if it can be different or should be different.
I agree with that. I agree that there should be a stipend, and I, without knowing for sure what the law actually says about, the flexibility we have and how much that stipend is, I do question whether it should be the same or a different one.
So I will do some research on that and provide that information, and we can bring it back, and then ultimately it will be approved. Whatever we decide to do will be approved, and we'll put it into play, and it will become part of our of the board policies and bylaws.
And then also in the discussion, it does mention something about a scholarship not to exceed $500 for the purpose of supported post-secondary education. And so is that in addition to the stipend? In addition to the stipend? Okay, thank you.
So if the student board member gets a stipend equal to the board members and a scholarship as well, they would make more money than we do.
That was intended as a scholarship from like an outside company. If they wanted to come in and say, I want to give your student board member a scholarship.
So that would not be through public funds,
Correct.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe there's also. Go ahead.
Are board members eligible for that scholarship?
Are you going back to college, Mr. Pombo?
But I also think there was a provision for credits as well. We did check with a couple of districts about what they were doing, and in the region more to the west, and they had provided the stipend, and we didn't hear anything alternative to a stipend.
Okay, any other questions or discussion?
And on the second matter, the $12.60 increase would be equivalent of a 5% increase, and we can fold that into if the board consensus is to make that change.
Okay.
I'm just going to state that I don't need it, but I will follow the will of the board on that one. But I'm not, I'm never going to be one to bring that forward. This is my active service. So, the stipend is really not something I think about. So I don't need or want the raise, but I don't want my narrow view to be the only view. So I will listen to the rest of the board. Yeah.
And I agree with Trustee Olson. I'm fine either way.
So with the AB 275, and this is what is being presented, and I would be happy to accept it as an appreciation of my service and time towards the community. So I'm okay for this. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm fine either way as well. So I think since we have pretty much most of the board is fine either way, we can move forward with consenting to the increase.
Thank you.
Okay, item C, summer board workshop. Staff report.
Yes, there's been an interest that's come forward to have a summer board workshop focused in on the board handbook and a discussion around that. President Boulay asked me to have this on here so we can start a calendaring conversation and make sure we don't have any problems or conflicts with vacation or family time. So we can send out a group email through Noel and start to gather dates and then put one together, and then we can schedule it that way, or you guys can scramble through your phones and look at your calendars. But Mr. Modi is not here, so it might be better to do it that way.
Yeah, I think it would be better to do it through the group email.
Yep.
And there's still some kind of things up in the air for me right now, so I couldn't really confirm or deny certain dates.
Agree.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, thank you. Item 13, calendar. Item A, Thursday, April 17th is the joint DLAC and Education Committee meeting at 6:30 at the Professional Development Center. Item B, Tuesday, April 29th is the District Parent Advisory Committee meeting at 6 o'clock at the Professional Development Center. Item C, Wednesday, May 7th is the next regular governing board meeting at 7 o'clock here in the District Office Boardroom. Item D, Thursday, May 8th is the Facilities Committee meeting at 6:30 here in the District Office Boardroom. And E, Wednesday, May 21st is the District Advisory Committee meeting at 6:15 here in the District Office Boardroom. In a moment, we will adjourn to closed session where we will discuss the following. Item A, Public Employee Discipline Dismissal Release Complaint, Government Code Section 54957. And item B, Conference with Real Property Negotiators, Government Code Section 54956.8.
I will move to adjourn to closed session.
Second.
Based on a motion by Trustee Olson and a second by Trustee Pombo, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no noes, and 1 absent. We are now adjourned to closed session at 8:04 p.m. Thank you, everyone.